Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. Yesterday we were talking about the book of Job. We talked about how Job came through to this place of faith, that even though he didn't understand why bad things were happening in his life, why he was suffering, he nevertheless declared his trust and his faith in God. And we talked about his three friends, Job's comforters, who came and tried to put things in a nice, neat system of theology that didn't really offer any real answer to Job's problems. And because of that, God said to them, "You have not spoken well of me." But there's somebody else that crops up in the book of Job, and that's Job's wife. Now, Job's wife in Job chapter 2, she says to Job, "Why do you maintain your integrity? Curse God and die." And history and theology has not been kind to Job's wife. Augustine referred to her as the devil's accomplice. John Calvin called her an instrument of Satan and a diabolical fury. And Thomas Aquinas said Satan spared her precisely in order to use her against Job. You know, I can't join in this condemnation of Job's wife. Yes, what she said was wrong, and it was foolish. But just think about her situation. This is a woman. Not only Job lost all his possessions, his wife lost all her possessions as well. Together, their 7 sons and 3 daughters have all been killed. These were 10 children that she had carried, each one of them within her womb for 9 months, and nursed at her breast as a baby, and had all hopes that they would produce grandchildren and even great-grandchildren, and she's seen all of them killed. She's caring for a husband who's desperately sick and with a loathsome disease. He's got these boils and sores that are weeping this stinking pus. His insides are all in turmoil. His breath is foul. And she's trying to help her husband deal with her grief of losing all their children, in poverty because all their possessions have been destroyed. This is a woman who's reached the end of her tether. And you know what? All of us have reached the end of our tether at one time or another. I think we've all reached a point where we've maybe said things we shouldn't have said, done things we shouldn't have done, and said, "Lord, I just can't take this any longer." And that's where Job's wife was. And so instead of beating up on Job's wife because she spoke foolishly and said to Job, "Why do you keep your integrity? Just curse God and die." Why don't we realize that the wonderful thing is that God had provided a wife to care for Job when he was suffering, and God had provided her with a husband who, when her faith was weak and her faith had faltered and she was at the end of the tether, she had a husband who said to her, "No, you're talking like one of those foolish women. That's not you. That's not who you are. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" And was able to talk to her and bring her back to a place of faith and trust in God. And you know what? The notable thing is this. While the book of Job condemns the 3 friends who came with their nice, neat theological explanations of why these things were happening to Job, the book of Job doesn't condemn Job's wife. And she's with him at the end, and she shares in the blessings that Job receives at the end of the book. You know, the fact that they have more children, that they prosper again, and everything else. That, of course, didn't take away the pain of the children they are lost. More children will never take away the pain of a child that you've lost. But nevertheless, she shared in the blessings that come at the end of the book. God didn't write her off as the devil's accomplice, as an instrument of Satan, as a diabolical fury. But God blessed her, just as he blessed Job. Why? Because God had put them together as a team, as a partnership. One of the wonderful things about being part of a team, whether we're talking a marriage covenant partnership or whether we're talking about a team of workers working together in a church or in some other ministry or enterprise, is we're there to help one another. And sometimes we do reach the end of our tether, and sometimes we feel we can't take any more. And that's when we encourage and strengthen one another. I know me and Janice have had to help one another at times when the other one thought we'd reached the end of the line and couldn't cope with it anymore. And we've helped one another get up, and we've helped one another carry on. And that, for me, is the great lesson of Job's wife. God bless you today. Have a great day. Join us again next time for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.